This is The Sport, an open and honest conversation about life and love and everything in between with me, STL Yamumo. Coming up on The Sport.
The driver shouted, "Kwani huoni hiyo ni Momo?" And I was mad. I forgot I had a baby on my back. I went, pulled the driver and I slapped him twice. And so one day, I realized I had hit a rock bottom. You know, not only addiction that can make you like lose it, but when you give attention to some of those things like weight issues, you can really, it started depressing me. I didn't even want to meet with my age mates because I still look different because my age mates are quite, small. And, I would always look bigger. I didn't even want to walk along with my sisters because my sisters are slim.
You look yourself in the mirror, you're like, I'm definitely a different person. And also, people will make comments about, you've added weight.
Mm-hmm. Some harsh comments.
Yeah, how did you deal with that?
At first, it wasn't so easy. And then I told God, if you gave me this body, because I'm sure I didn't look for it, give me the reason to love myself, to understand myself, and to know who I am.
There's more to a woman other than being a wife, other than being a mother.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sometimes I wouldn't say wasted years, but you still feel like you've lost something because it's okay. Where I will start today, it's not where I should have been.
Yeah.
If I was still a career woman.
There is so much more to motherhood that people don't take account to. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes people feel that becoming a mother, it's just watching your kids grow, and that growth is not guaranteed. And let's talk about a couple of things that came about. There was the issue of, finances.
Yes.
Then you moved from being a size 8 to a plus size woman.
Oh, yes. Now that's another story.
That's another story on its own.
On its own.
So how did you as a woman, let's talk about finances first. Mm-hmm. How did you, deal with the finance issue? Because that's a breaking point for a lot of marriages.
I've always had this policy that money is not everything. It reached a point, when after going all through that with my babies, I decided family come first.
Yeah.
And I knew that, utajiri sio lazima kwa maisha, mm-hmm. though we look for it. All I focused was, do we have enough? Are we eating well? Are we feeding? Are we paying the rent? Are we paying the school fees? Yeah. For Ryan? And do we have enough for our clothes? I don't need more. Do we have peace in that house? Yes. That's all that I could focus on. Because I knew that, after all that, we have more time to look for money and to work. But you don't always have this time for parenthood.
Very true.
I will just take you back to Ryan. When Ryan was sick, and we were that time I was going to Kenyatta and I had no, the only thing I could afford was transport. Then he looked for money and bring me to hospital. Uh-huh. One time, when I was in college, I had a side hustle. I was teaching German ladies Swahili. So I think she connected me with some others. So at that point when Ryan was so sick, someone called me and told me that we have this job somewhere around Ngando area, mm-hmm. and some Wazungus want you to teach them Swahili. So I was like, when? And she told me 3 times a week, just 3 hours. No, 4 times a week, from Monday to Thursday, 4 hours per day. No, I think 4 or 3 hours per day.
Okay.
And how much are we talking about? They were like 16K. That was in 2010. It wasn't bad money.
Still good money.
Still good. No, it was in 2012. That is still good money.
Yeah.
So Baba Ryan was like, hey, guy, Mungu amekuja. Please go. And I told him, you know what? I'm not ready to bury another baby. I'm not going. So he was like, unaachilia pesa ziende tu kwa macho. And I told him, it's not about money. I can go look for that money and we'll take it to hospital. Yeah. And we might even lose our child. So let me just look after my baby. Only my baby matters here. And that's how I even forgot about, watching my weight. And, it's about selflessness.
You become so selfless.
Yes.
That's what motherhood is about.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes moving from a size 8,
mm-hmm.
were you a size 8? Yeah, size 8, size thereabouts.
Let me say I was a size, is it size 12? Or between size 12, 14.
Moving from your original size,
mm-hmm.
to becoming a plus size woman,
mm-hmm.
you look yourself in the mirror, you're like, I'm definitely a different person. And also, people will make comments about, you've added weight.
Some harsh comments.
Yeah, how did you deal with that?
At first, it wasn't so easy because I only realized, actually, I told you about, forgetting about everything else and focusing on my baby's health. And I learned about adding my weight when my baby was around 9 months.
That is now your second baby?
Now, Ryan, yes, my second baby.
Your second baby, okay.
Yeah. So, I went to take her to his, the normal checkups, the clinics. So when I took him there, I decided, why can't I just weigh myself and see, hey, what I saw broke my heart. I saw 106 kgs. That is from, I had added a little. I was around 72 when I delivered Ryan, because, there is that gain, weight gain during pregnancy. You can either gain or lose.
Okay.
And I added, so from 72
to 106.
To 106. I broke down, nililia, until the doctors were like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, is this my weight? I cried. And from that time, I started giving too much attention to my weight. And by the way, I can't even say it came as a result of eating. I don't know. Probably it might be just genetics, the genes in me, because my mom is also a plus size. But I never really thought it would come that fast. And so when it happened, I was under too much, stress. My baby is always sick.
Yeah.
So where is all this weight coming from? And so I cried. I really cried, and I didn't even know how to deal with it. And I started, getting angry at myself and at others and even at my husband. So, and actually, through this anger, nothing happened. I only added.
You added
now I
some
started
more.
adding more and adding more and adding more, from 106 to 115 to 118. And now there was this word that had come with a song, Momo.
Yeah.
And now people started calling me Momo.
Whoa.
And that song was a hit song for Kikuyus. And I would not even want to pass somewhere the song is singing.
Yeah.
Because it became, I changed from the good me to a bad person. There was no peace in that house because he could not even whistle that song.
Yeah, and it was a popular song at the time.
It was a popular song.
It's playing everywhere.
So he's come from wherever he has come from. And he's like, and hell would break loose. And so one day, I realized I had hit a rock bottom. Not only addiction that can make you lose it, but when you give attention to some of those things like weight issues, you can really, it started depressing me. Because I would put myself in that closet, I didn't even want to meet with my age mates, because I still look different, because my age mates are quite, small. And, I would always look bigger. I didn't even want to walk along with my sisters, because my sisters are slim, and some are old. They are, one of them, she's very slim. She's 13 years older than me, and now the other one is 10 years. And whenever we walk with them, they're like, oh, we thought it's your mom. Nice. I didn't want such comments. And when people comment, they may not even know they're hurting you.
Yeah.
But I was really hurting inside. And so I'd say, I'm just bigger than them, and they're smaller sister.
You just
always
played
want to
cool,
prove.
but deep inside you're hurting.
Yes, and always trying to prove to people I'm their youngest. Msiniangalie mwili, It became a burden of explaining to people I'm the youngest, And so this became quite a bad habit for me, because I didn't feel good about explaining myself to people and, explaining about my weight. I didn't even want to talk about it. And now the problem would happen when my husband would ask me to go out with him. And I'm like, utasema mimi ni nani? So he's like, what is wrong with you? Do I even care what people will talk about? Do I even care what? And I'm like, I care. I don't want to walk with you. Kama unataka kutembea na mimi, enda unone. It was bad. It was bad. I wouldn't even want to go shopping, because sikutaka wanionyeshe itakutoshea. I would, talk badly. I even developed quite a loose tongue. So, the thing that you do, and then when you go home, you start regretting, what did I just do? And so one time, I was coming from clinic, and the matatu stopped. And I was about to enter. And so, I couldn't, the way Nissans
You couldn't fit.
I couldn't fit.
Yeah.
Between, so I just wanted this front chair,
front seat,
the one
yeah.
behind the driver. So I wanted the front seat, and I told the tout, look at me, I can't just, and I was so peaceful, I can't fit in there. So I'll just wait for the next matatu. The driver shouted, kwani huoni hiyo ni Momo? And I was mad. I forgot I had a baby on my back. I went, pulled the driver, and I slapped him twice. I slapped him. And I asked him, Momo ni mamako?
That was very rude of him to say that, yeah.
And I was like, I knew I was big.
But you didn't have to remind me.
You didn't have to remind me.
Yeah.
So I went home and cried. Like, I felt like I had lost, my self-sense and my self-respect, and because I'm not a violent person, to be precise.
Yeah.
I always act cool, even when I'm wronged.
You're a very
act
cool
fast.
person. I can attest to that.
I don't act with anger.
Yeah.
But that time I realized it's getting the best out of me.
Yeah.
And I stayed in the house. I wouldn't go out. I could go to church. I just stayed in the house. I didn't even want to go out shopping. I just wanted to be in that house because I knew I was. And again, you'll just go out there and you find, someone who knows me like STL. Kai Wangoi, what did you do? You're so big. When you kukula too. And you just come home broken.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that kind of life.
Because sometimes people make reckless comments not knowing it's hurtful. Mm-hmm. And they assume that, you're not doing anything about your situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This habit of explaining, like, imagine hata si kukula. I don't know how all this came about. And they're like, hey, you know what? Kunaona ni kujitakia kukonda ndio mapenzi ya Mungu. And I'm like, so you mean this is not mapenzi ya Mungu? And I was so affected. Mm-hmm. Until one day, I looked myself in the mirror. And I told myself, you know what? You're fearfully and wonderfully made. Created in God's image.
Yeah.
And then I told God, if you gave me this body, because I'm sure I didn't look for it. If you gave me this body, give me the reason to love myself, to understand myself, and to know who I am. That's all I asked. And from that moment,
you started loving yourself.
I started loving and appreciating myself, and I would go out. I started shopping, and I identified those people. One way of avoiding hurts, you don't want, you're just preventing your heart from getting angry, because I was still not fully healed. And I decided I'm not looking for any counselor or a psychiatrist here. I'm just me. I just have to work this out myself.
Yeah.
So I decided I'll just identify 3 people actually. One is the tailor.
Okay.
Who can make my clothes.
Okay.
There were 4. The other one, the one who can sell me trousers.
Okay.
The other one, the boutique where I would go, the one who will be selling me clothes without asking me my size.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want that kind of question. And the other one was for tops. So when I come to you, you know what I need. Stop asking. And that's how I started healing, because it was my way of recovering and knowing that you've gone out from this stage of being a size 8, as they call it, or a figure 8, to
the
now
perfect size.
The perfect size.
Yeah.
To now a plus size woman. And I started telling myself, you know what? You're now a mother. You're no longer a girl. You're not looking for anything. Decided and said, it's about me. It's not about us.
Yeah.
Even if my husband whispers the song, whether it's intended for me to hear or not, I didn't even give it that kind of attention.
Yeah.
I loved myself, and I still love myself. So I can dress well, I can go out there, and by the way, it no longer hurts when he calls me Momo. Actually, I have this friend who calls me Momo, and I'm okay. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh, yeah, one day you'll call me size 8. Like, it no longer hurts.
Self-love, tunambongwa, there's tujifunze kujipenda. And then other people will love you along the way because you love yourself first.
Very true. And again, I came to realize this one thing. If you give attention or too much attention to negative vibes, you will even attract it to people around you.
Yeah.
People used to see me and to look at me and they're like, guy, she's big. The same people, because where I live, I've been there now for 9 years.
Okay.
This is my 9th year. And they were the ones who were like, guy, this lady is big. And nowadays they're telling me, imagine umekata weight, And I'm like, every time I'm weighing, the weight, the little weight that I've lost cannot be seen with eyes, by the way.
Yeah.
I've lost 2 little, but because I stopped giving attention to my body and asking also people, how do I look? They also stopped giving attention to it.
Yeah.
Because the kind of vibe you have, it's the same one you pass to people around you. And I said, okay, I'll be positive about myself. So they're like, hey, squeeze unafanya nini? Umekata. And I'm like, deep within I know sijakata. Because it's hata kama imepotea, it's just, it's quite insignificant.
Yeah.
It's not as significant.
But the beauty of it is that you are okay with yourself.
Yes, I'm okay with myself. Though I can try and work it out for my own health, but not for people. Not even for my peace of mind, because I'm peaceful.
Wow.
But for my health's sake. Because sometimes, sometimes, I used to say that I want to look my age. Because my age mates, they also have kids. Some even have bigger kids than mine, and they're slim. And, you go to people and they're like, I wish I would at least add a little weight. And so I looked at it this way, like, no human will be satisfied of what they have.
Yeah. We always want to perfect what we already have.
So the best thing is just love yourself and appreciate what you have. And be thankful that you're healthy. I could only tell about my weight when I weigh. I've never felt my weight. That's the benefit of it.
Yeah.
I'm still flexible as I was.
Way back. Yeah.
I still do my chores. I don't pant when I walk. So I only feel my weight when I weigh. Or when I fit clothes. I'm like, okay, nimepoteza kidogo ama imerudi.
Yeah.
That's how I feel my weight. But I've never felt my weight like I'm heavy, I cannot walk properly, I'm panting along. No.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit, because there's so much more other than playing wifey duties and becoming a mother.
Yeah.
There's the career. So all this time, it's been maybe I don't know how many years now.
3 years now.
Three years.
Actually 4 years. My baby will be turning 4 in March 18th. This March.
So you had 18th. A small stint doing your career.
Yes.
But then you had to, put it on hold again because you were taking care of your last born. So let's say you've had like maybe close to 9-10 years not active in your career.
In my career.
How does that make you feel? Because there's more to a woman other than being a wife, other than being a mother.
Okay, sometimes I wouldn't say wasted years, but you still feel like you've lost something. Because it's okay, where I will start today, it's not where I should have been.
Yeah.
If I was still a career woman. I have no regrets, because whatever I did was much more better than, I won't say than a career, but it was better. I can't say I was jobless.
Yeah.
It's more of a job it's more like a job or of a job like any other job, only that it does not pay money-wise.
Yeah.
But it pays. When you have those babies and they laugh with you, and it's still a good job. But still, career-wise, I still went some step, many steps behind, because it's not where I should have been if
you would have.
If I had, started my career right when I left school.
Yeah.
So it's been quite some years. Let's say 13 years down the line. So, because it's like I haven't really worked.
Yeah.
But I still thank God. But maybe it's a new beginning. After this, actually, I'm not planning to have any other baby.
Oh.
But if God allows it, we
if
might
God
say
decides
no.
to
If
surprise
God decides,
you.
yes.
Yeah.
Because, I don't limit God. Yeah. I don't limit God. If He decides, but it's not in my plans.
You're done. With that chapter, umesema, I'm comfortable with 2.
I may not say I'm comfortable. Actually, it's due to my health.
Okay.
That is due to my health, because there were some complications they were talking of my weak uterus, and if I dare have another pregnancy, that will be.
Plus, you've already had 3 C-sections.
These C-sections.
Yes.
So it will not be so much okay. Some have even 5, but for me, they were like, you shouldn't do it. Actually, they were opting for how do they call it? It's TL, tube ligation, and I told them no, don't do that. So they were opting for that. That was their advice, because they were like, you shouldn't. So it's not that I'm comfortable with 2. It's because, like the doctor told me, be thankful with those 2, than we lose you trying to have another one.
Yeah.
And who will
After
take
the
care,
other
who will
two.
look after the other two. So it's a risk that I'm not ready to take. That's it. So not that I'm comfortable. It's a risk. But if I was okay, maybe. But I'm still saying, if God wants me to have one, he will have his ways. I wouldn't mind anyway.
Okay, so I have to ask this question of, do you feel that in marriage, in a partnership where there are two parents, the both of you have equal roles as such, or do you feel mothers are expected to do more than the husbands and the fathers?
It's a bit tricky. But, sometimes we think that only mothers does a lot. But depending on what I've been through, I can tell you that when your partner is supportive, it's a job that you guys do together. Because when your baby is not all right, the father is not all right. Even if you are having this baby, he's always calling and coming back home to check whether you're still doing okay.
Yeah.
He may not carry that baby physically,
but he's supporting you in taking care of that baby.
And even mentally, he's always having us in his mind, like, kuna watu huko. If you're not okay, he knows you're not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah? If the baby is not well, he's not well. And I told you, like mine, you don't just break any news. You must wait and know how.
Yeah.
Because he can be so broken.
Okay. What is the most awesome thing you've learned about motherhood over the years? What's the greatest lesson about motherhood?
I just want to say, like you just said, awesomeness. Motherhood is awesome. Regardless the ups and downs. When you see them there and you hear them call you mommy and you know that you have life that has come out of you, look at them and just say, this is my own flesh and blood. It's a job that every mother should enjoy doing without regrets.
Okay.
I've always enjoyed them. I've enjoyed those moments. Although I've cried, I've had laughters and cries, and it's okay. Yeah? But I have really, really enjoyed motherhood, and I'm still enjoying it, and I will continue enjoying it. It's a lifetime thing that, every woman out there, kama kuna yule husema hangetaka, aseme tu anataka. It's not bad. Anyway, you are brought on this earth by your own mom. Why can't you just want to become a mother and, experience this only when it's right?
And on that note, it's that time to kiss and say goodbye. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. And I urge you to continually always come back for more content, because as always, we have lots and lots conversations that we will be talking about. And also, if you have a topic that you want to share with us, we gladly would like to tackle it. And also, if you have a story ambayo unataka kushare na sisi pia, we are open to new ideas and new stories that we can tell each and every single day. But right now, it's that time to kiss and say goodbye. I have been STL Yamumo. Bye-bye.